Good morning. Thanks for joining me at Coffee with Kory. What a wonderful week connecting with people. And I've got to start by telling you that I got to make the trip back to the hometown of Blunt this week for Dad's birthday, which happens to be on Halloween. So I spent a few hours there in Blunt with Mom and Dad. Mom made lunch for us, which is always a treat for me. And then I got to do one of my favorite childhood memories, which I know it sounds a little odd, but walking around in the yard with my dad and having him point out the different trees, how big were they when they were planted, what type of trees are they, and that is a very centering activity for me, to be wandering around in that yard that I spent obviously so much time in as a kid. It just takes me back to where it all started, and I loved being there with you guys this week. I know it's never a long period of time, but it's always very special to me. So as I mentioned, that's also Halloween. So when I get back that evening, grandkids are over trick-or-treating, and seeing the joy on their faces and all that fun they have with the whole trick-or-treating and dressing up aspect, it puts a big smile on my face. So that was wonderful. Had the opportunity this week to come back to where this all started. Where Coffee with Kory all started was with me having coffee with Clark. And so I got to have coffee with my buddy Clark this week. It is so good to see him getting stronger by the day. So thank you for the little bit of time that we got to share with each other this week, Clark. The event that I really want to tell you about is I got to attend the South Dakota Law Enforcement Appreciation Dinner that continues to grow every year. They moved it to the Sioux Falls Convention Center this year, and there was over 2,000 people there. Anybody that you can think of in South Dakota was there. Our congressional delegation, all three of them were there. Governor Nome was there, Sioux Falls Chief of Police, Mayor Ten Aiken, which I got a chuckle out of this. So I'm standing there, I'm talking to a few people, and I look over and I see a guy that I've got to know a little bit in Vermilion when we go down for football games, who happens to be the mayor, John. I'm like, wow, Mayor John Cole is up here from Vermilion. And of course, he's talking to Mayor Ten Aiken. So apparently they had some mayoral things to catch up on that evening. But also, those of you that know me best know that some of the most dear people in my life are in law enforcement. Got to see my good buddy John, who's been in the highway patrol since we got out of college at USD, and my niece Macy is in law enforcement. My good buddy Steve Majeski was in law enforcement, and it's just having all of those people come together to appreciate law enforcement is that in and of itself is moving. But I will say there were a lot of speeches. Every dignitary got up and said a few words. And the one that I want to leave you with, though, so at the end of the appreciation banquet, they gave out a couple different law enforcement awards. And neither of those gentlemen that received those awards were told that they were going to have to say any words, but they both did. And very well-spoken gentlemen, and that in and of itself, when you're put on the spot like that, being able to get up and talk in front of 2,000 people, was very impressive to me. But the last young man gets up there, and he ends with the setup for this is that when in the presentation of the award, it was brought up that one of his heroic acts during the past year involved a hostage standoff where he had to neutralize a subject that had taken some people hostage. And he gets up there as he accepts his award and says a few words, and then he says something to the effect of, that he's not going to talk about that incident, and he didn't know what led that person to be put in that situation where he had taken people hostage. But he said, I pray for him every night, and I hope you will too. And I just thought, wow, to be able to have that level of forgiveness and that level of being able to pray and forgive others when they've done things that are horrible and that they're trying to come back from. That's something that's hung with me the rest of the week, and I knew that I wanted to share with you because I think that once again, like we talk about all the time when we have coffee, there's a lot of lessons in life, and that one is pretty important. So when you can forgive and pray for others, it doesn't just offer up prayers for them. I think a lot of times that it helps make you feel better as well. And so I wanted to share that. I don't even remember the young man's name, and it doesn't matter. I know he struck me as a guy that doesn't want any notoriety. He wants to do his job because it makes him feel good in his heart, and sharing those words were very powerful for me. So I had to get them out to you guys. So thank you for joining me for Coffee with Kory, and I hope to see you again next week.